Hey everyone, Sherrod Williams, Associate AD for Operations and Competitive Excellence here at Lion Athletics. I'm joined today by two awesome people from Lions Volleyball that are going to help continue the conversation that we're having around Women's History Month here in Lion Athletics and celebrating greats that have come through our program, as well as the people that amplify them to those great heights. Today we're joined by Coach Craig Case and Shelley Chapron. Shelley is one of the most decorated athletes in Lion volleyball history, and Coach Case is the all-time winningest coach in Lion volleyball history. So we have two legends on the screen today with us. They're going to have a great conversation that just talks about Shelley's experience here and the things that have propelled her to the success that she's seeing now in life, and as well celebrate other parts of her that aren't just predicated to the court. So again, I would like to welcome you all to this another installation of this talk, and I will hand it over to Coach Craig Case and Shelley Chapron. Y'all enjoy yourselves. It's going to be a great conversation. Glad that you could join us.
Thanks, Sherrod. Yeah, Shelley was a big part of a lot of those wins. So I gotta thank her in person for helping me get to that milestone. How you doing, Shelley?
I'm doing pretty good. Just in school. How are you?
I'm doing well. Trying to navigate a new type of season, and so it's been an interesting season as far as those things go. But really glad that you and I got a chance to hang out today and catch up. Even though we talk occasionally, I do miss having you around a lot, and it's nice to be able to see you and talk to you in person, sort of.
I miss volleyball so much. I didn't realize how much I would miss it until I'm at home now. So I wish I was here at 6 o'clock in the morning, honestly.
The wildest thing is, I mean, we say it all the time, right? Like, you guys have got to enjoy this, because a year from now, you're going to miss it. And everybody's like, nope.
Yeah, I thought I would be that person, but that was quickly, a change for me. I didn't really know what to do after I left the program. It was kind of just heartbreaking, but exciting.
Yeah, we're proud of everything you're doing and where you're going with things. But being that we're talking about Women's History Month, Shelley, what who are some of the most or the most influential women that you've had in your life?
Well, for one, the most influential woman in my life is definitely my mom. She taught me how to be a strong, independent Black woman, and for her to be so successful, for her to, inspire me every single day, inspire my siblings. I'm the youngest of 7, and I have 4 other sisters. So I have a lot of influential women in my life, and I'm so thankful that my mom really helped me grow into the woman I am today, especially since, I am a woman of color. It is difficult for us to do certain things, or we have to work, just a little bit harder being, a woman of color. And so having her in my life constantly motivate me, tell me that I can do it, telling me that you might have to work a little harder, but everything that you do can be attainable and achievable. So having her in my life is the best blessing that I could have ever asked for. I couldn't have asked for a better mom, honestly. And you saw her at the game. She was always there cheering, supporting the team, supporting me, supporting everything about this program. She was so happy I came here. So she was a huge part of that.
Yeah, she's a great lady. I miss having her around too. You have to tell her hello for me.
I will.
I think one of the things that is most players, when young players are watching older players play, and I'm talking like 10 to 15-year-olds are watching college players or watching Olympians or professional players play. I think one of the things they never understand is, in order to get that good, there has to be a love of the sport, right? And I think you always had a real genuine love for volleyball and an incredible volleyball IQ. What was where did that all come from? How did you fall in love with the game, and how did, kind of at the early stages, how did you know you were good?
Well, honestly, before volleyball, I played tennis and basketball, which was just not for me. Okay, I can be very honest about that. I played tennis, basketball for about 5 or 6 years until I just said, okay, this is not the sport I would like to pursue, although I love watching them. So in 6th grade, I called up my dad. I can distinctly remember our conversation. There were volleyball tryouts. I was with my friend. I said, hey, Dad, I think I'm just going to try volleyball. I'm just going to quit everything else. He was like, okay, just go for it. So I signed up, and I kid you not, I just never touched any other sport. I always stuck with volleyball. Then I started playing my sophomore year in high school. I started playing club volleyball, and that's when I really got to experience that. Hey, you can go play college volleyball if you get to that level. So I just trained day in, day out. Always had positional training, wanted to get that scholarship. And so that's pretty much like the journey from middle school up into high school. I actually quit my senior year in high school. I quit our volleyball team to train with the club team for the entire season. So that was a sacrifice I had to make. But that was something that I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to play volleyball. I love volleyball. I knew I wanted to be a collegiate athlete. And I'm glad that I found commerce, especially. So that was the big thing for me, is just kind of getting myself into a sport that allowed me to express myself. I was a very, very quiet person. You may know I was very quiet on the court, and I kind of had to just get out of that shell. So volleyball really helped me. And this, entire program really helped me kind of mold into the person I am right now. So I'm just thankful that I had these opportunities to, excel like this. So.
Yeah, and you excelled, that's for sure. And one of the things that I think is often ignored, is how much of an impact you had on me as a coach because of your ability and your volleyball IQ. And as a coach, you almost have to try to stay one step ahead of everybody. And it was very hard to stay ahead of you because you would catch up to me pretty quickly. And sometimes you didn't always want to. But I really do appreciate how much you pushed me as a coach to get better because of your love and your volleyball IQ and your passion. I appreciate that, Shelley.
I think that's another thing. Like, you guys pushed me, and we pushed each other, but we both wanted to be successful. Mm-hmm. And I feel as if just as much as I wanted to be an All-American, you guys wanted me to be one. And just as much as I wanted, you to be, the coach with the most wins now in the history of the school, I wanted that for you as well. So I think having that mutual, respect and having that type of atmosphere to surround yourself with was the most important thing. And that's how, I feel as if our volleyball program has been so successful. So.
Yeah, I agree. You talked about getting from high school to college, and now, we were, your second stop, you transferred here your sophomore year, and I distinctly remember I was sitting in an old, broken chair down by the training room the first time we talked, because it was the only place I could get cell reception at the field house. And I remember our first conversation vividly, but kind of tell me from your standpoint of how you ended up at Commerce.
Well, I wanted to, just be a part of an environment that was very competitive, that was a positive environment. And also, when I first visited the school, I didn't realize how diverse the program was. I saw a lot of women on the team that looked like me, and that was like a big step for me. And that kind of, that was probably one of the big decision makers that I had to, realize that this program is not only a competitive program, it's a part of a very competitive conference, but also, there are women that are successful on this team. There are women of color. You have so many transfers from so many different backgrounds and, ethnic backgrounds and nationalities and things like that. So it was like an honor for me to play amongst a diverse group of women. And so I think that was one of the things that really, I really noticed when I first came to Commerce. Also, the coaching staff was very, very friendly. Honestly, me and my parents would have conversation, and we were just like, this just feels like, a family. It feels like home. How often do you, visit a school and get introduced to the president of the school, and how, my dad, my mom, me, we were all just so shocked that we actually got to speak with everyone that's a part of the program. Everyone was involved. And so I think that's one of the best things about this program is it's not just one person making all of the decisions. It's everyone coming together, working as a unit, as a family to make those decisions and who is coming in to the program. So that was like a huge thing for me. And I actually did have visits with other schools lined up afterwards. And I completely just said, hey, I already found somewhere I wanted to go. So it was a really easy decision. You guys made it really easy for me. So
And I remember your visit because we lost your dad for 45 minutes. I don't remember if you remember this, but they had a holiday like sale. They had all these hot like crafts people selling holiday stuff, and your dad just disappeared. We're like, hey, we got to go on to the next thing. Where's your dad? You're like, he's
no,
somewhere shopping.
that's funny.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. He just used to get so nervous. He was just so anxious. I was like, Dad, it's going to be fine. We're going to be okay. This is the school we're going to. Okay. So, I mean, like he was sold too. So,
We're looking at Christmas wreaths or something.
yeah.
Okay, so you're here, you're finally at Commerce, and you feel like you've gone home, and we felt that way too. And then you just achieved incredible levels of performance, and not just on the court, but off the court, right? An incredible student athlete, and you're one of those people now that we look at and we're like, I mean, Shelley didn't have any problem being an All-American on the court and an All-American in the classroom. And you've got to figure out how to do that too. And so you've also showed other people that that's possible. But just kind of in your own words and kind of just thinking about yourself, like what was your mindset and how you were going to be elite at both?
Well, I think, trying to achieve success on and off the court was probably the most difficult thing for me to, grasp or handle, only because I knew the amount of time that I, dedicated to my studies. I had to dedicate that same amount of time to my teammates, to the coaching staff, to the volleyball program. And so for me, I just kind of went off of a very structured schedule. There was times where, I did have to sacrifice, a couple of extra hours to get that extra studying in to make that grade that I wanted. And so I feel as if my success was very much so a gradual process. The more comfortable I got with the program, the more you guys were in my corner, the more support I got each and every year, it was just so much easier for me to be successful. And I also feel as if, setting goals, speaking with your coaches about these goals, speaking with your teammates about these goals, incorporating them in every aspect of your life when you're on campus and when you're a part of that program is really important because you don't realize how much they help you until they do. And so without, the thrower center, all of the resources that I had, without, you and, the assistant coaches telling me, hey, make sure you complete these assignments, make sure you don't fall behind, everyone holding each other accountable for these things really, attributed to my success. And I couldn't have done that without, you, my teammates, just the program in itself, the way it's set up, the way it's structured, really allows students to, be straight A students and be All-Americans at the same time. So it was really difficult, but it was something that I was able to do, and I found a way to do it. And, just making sure I communicated with you all about, my steps, my goals, my ambitions. And, I still communicate with you today about, stuff that I want to do. So I think just building those relationships is just the most important thing you can do, in order to achieve success.
Yeah, and I find with a lot of players have this experience, and maybe you did or maybe you didn't. We've never talked about it, but I feel like a lot of times when players are driven in the classroom and on the court, it seems impossible for a while, and it's usually about the first 3 semesters, and then all of a sudden they kind of get into it, and it not becomes easy, but it becomes very simple, and it just kind of becomes the way they do things. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, I mean, I really say this, like, I feel as if success was just inevitable at this program. Like, I was going to achieve it. I was going to get to it. I didn't know when. I didn't know quite. Sometimes I didn't know how, but I knew that it was going to happen. I just had to be patient. And so, I mean, yeah, it was, difficult at first, but yeah, each year it got easier and easier. I became, more relaxed every time, I sat down and take that test, or, we went to an away game and had to, make a statement at this school or something like that. But yeah, every year it did ease up a little bit. So that was a good thing.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about just volleyball in general. What what do you like? What legacy do you want to leave as a volleyball player? Or what? Let me rephrase that. What legacy did you intend to leave as a volleyball player at A&M Commerce?
Well, as a volleyball player, I feel like I was a little bit different in a sense that I was pretty mild mannered on the court. But the legacy I would like to leave, or that I believe I left, was that even if you don't have the very the personality that just draws everyone to you, if you're just a little bit more reserved or you're just a little bit different, that's okay. You can do that. Also being a woman of color, you have to be able to understand that you can be successful, just as successful as the next person. You can attain those goals that you didn't think were achievable. And so I feel as if being successful on the court and off the court, I was able to inspire people, inspire young girls to say, hey, I see her with a different colored hair, I see her with all these things, and she's doing well, and I want to be like her one day. And I actually remember I was in Walmart, and she was probably about 12 or 13. She just tapped me on the shoulder. She was like, can I have a hug? And I was like, sure, you can have a hug. And she was like, you're my favorite volleyball player. She was like, good game tonight. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. And so I didn't quite realize my impact until those things started happening. And that's when I became like more appreciative of everything you all have done for me. I was elated that I would even get that type of response, but I couldn't have gotten that without, you and my teammates, and just instilling in me that we need to be, leaders on and off the court. So I think that was, a huge thing for me.
That's a really cool story. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, I didn't really tell many people because I was kind of like shocked, but yeah, I did. That did happen.
Yeah, when people tap me on the shoulder at Walmart, they're wanting to know why we lost the bets. They're not usually giving me high fives for.
Well, they don't say that too often because you won a lot, so they don't say that often.
That's really cool. And I think along that lines too, from a more like specific, and think about some of the teammates. You don't need to name them by name, but what was some of the things that you wanted your teammates to know by the time you were done playing with them?
Well, I wanted them to know that that just when you feel like you had like a rough week, or if you feel like things aren't going your way, that communicating with the coaches, you can reach out to me even though I'm not on the team anymore. Having a support system was something that was a huge part of being successful on that team. If you have a down week and you have that support system to pick you back up, that was one thing that I had to have that. And when we played tough games, tough matches, and if we didn't come out successful with that, always having your teammates to fall back on. I have a lot of teammates that I could have talked to and things like that. But I just wanted them to know that, even if you feel as if things aren't going in your favor now, you just have to be patient. You have to work hard. You have to listen, be attentive at all times in practice. You have to do things off the court for your teammates, study sessions, all of that, and develop those relationships with your teammates. Always have them to, always be a part of your teammates' life, know what's going on and things like that. So, that's pretty much what I wanted to leave for my teammates, that, having that type of support was the most important.
Those are good things, Shelley. Those are good things. I noticed that one of those pieces of advice was arguing with your coach.
Don't argue with them. It's not
that makes me laugh. I guess just generally speaking, not even just about volleyball and not even just being a student, but as a highly successful female, what advice would you want to share with future generations of women to be successful and how to have a good life?
Well, I feel as if, being a woman and being a Black woman at that, being a woman of color, there's a lot of things that you may, perceive as, negative and things like that. But there are a lot of things that, we could do to be successful. And one thing about that is you need to always, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of your environment. Being in that type of environment that is, surrounded with positive people, surrounded with support, surrounded with people that really want to see you do well, is something that's really important, only because when you surround yourself or you put yourself in that environment, when you commit to that school and you say, hey, I got, the best, feelings about this school and this is where I want to go. I think taking that into account and taking that into consideration is, really important for your success. The next thing I would probably say is just be confident in yourself. For me, it was very much so a gradual process. I was not confident when I first came here. I was not the starting middle. I was not any of that. I definitely had to, really, really look at myself and say, hey, you can do this. This is something that you're going to do. This is what you want to do. And, it might not be right now, but it will be, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And so I think having that confidence it's a very hard thing to do, but it's something that you can do. But the last thing I would say is just, surround yourself with, people that want to see you win. I surrounded myself with a coaching staff that wanted to see me, excel, wanted to see me break records or, break those boundaries. But I also wanted them to do well. I wanted our coaching staff to I wanted you to win coach of the year and stuff like what you did. So I wanted all of that for you all. So I think, having people that really want to see you do well and people that check up on you, people that, to this day, you still check up on me. We still have conversations. And I think that's really important. I think that, I was fortunate enough to be a part of a program that was like that. And so that would probably be the advice I would have for people is just keep those in mind.
That's pretty good advice. And, we're so, and it warms my heart to hear how proud you are to be a part of our program. And, and we have the same amount of pride in you and not only just the stuff you did when you're here, but where you're going and the great things that you're going to continue to accomplish in your life. And so we, as blessed as you've talked about being able to be a part of our program, we feel the same way about you and wouldn't take 1 minute of your time here. And we, like I said, we couldn't be happier or more proud of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I'm really thankful that, I found somewhere that accepted me. I didn't have to feel as if I was in a environment that was constantly being judged. I felt as if this was really the best way I could have molded into myself. And that's something that I always cherish. I always remember. I'll come back as much as I possibly can. But I tell my mom this all the time. I'm just elated that I came to this program for real. Like, really.
Good. We are too. And you have to tell your mom hello for me. Like I said, I miss having
I will. She's busy right now in her office, but I definitely will.
Awesome. Well, Shelley, I just can't express enough how much I've enjoyed getting to visit with you, even virtually. And we've been working on some stuff, and we've changed some things here, and we've got some new things to show you. And I have intentionally not told you about them because I want you to see them in person. And so once we're able to get things going again, and next fall we've got more traditional season, make sure you make some time, maybe in the preseason, find some time to come out and hang out and meet some of the new players and see some of the new stuff. But would love to come to campus.
Yes, I definitely will. I still watch the games, and I got you. I will.
Listen, this has been wonderful having you two Lion greats share all the insight for the future generation, as well as celebrating the program, all the things that have been done by both of you. Lion Athletics appreciates you. Everyone, please continue to stick around and watch all of our videos as we celebrate Lion greats during Women's History Month and beyond. This doesn't just stop with Women's History Month. This is something that we'll be doing all throughout Lion Athletics and for the foreseeable future. And again, we appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Have a great rest of your day. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
Go Lions.